Decided to get on here early and on time. My name is Chris Smith. I'm going to get this call started this evening. I am the host tonight. I'm coming to you from Liberty, Utah. Tonight we're going to talk about a few things. So my job is to queue up what kind of information we're looking at this evening and who we're going to be hearing that from. And before that, I'm going to just queue up a story that will set, I think, the foundation for that. A very brief story about success, entrepreneurship, and what's at the foundation of that, because that's really what we're going to be ultimately talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about a system that I was taught that's very, very foundational around a few behaviors and a few principles. But I think that system could be actually, and this is where my story is going to go, applied to any business out there almost. If you were going to be someone starting that business, whatever the endeavor is, I think these principles, which have a foundation in relationships and storytelling, I think these principles could work almost anywhere, but we're going to talk about how they work in network marketing, specifically to LifeVantage, because we're going to be hearing from people who have built multi-million-dollar organizations LifeVantage using these principles. So the first person we're going to hear from, before I do the introduction, is going to go over what those principles actually are. And the second person tonight is going to go over how they actually applied those principles, what that journey looked like to build. They don't have to prove it. I'm going to tell you, they built a multinational, multi-million-dollar organization that produces leveraged income with this system. Okay. So with that, I'm going to go into my story about why I think this concept of relationships and some principle-based things in business is foundational to success everywhere. 8:02, I got plenty of time. This will only take a minute. Sir Richard Branson. The name is well known for doing a lot of different things, but he started the Virgin brand overall. I'll take you all the way back to the beginning of his brand. The guy had a record store where they just sold all kinds of records and used records and stuff like that. And he found out that one of his employees was actually stealing some of the used records and then selling them at another, record sales store across town. And Richard, the foundation of being a relationship business, just when he owned this one record store, he wasn't the Virgin brand, at the time. Really, he knew this guy and really trying to figure out before he fired this guy, what was going on in this guy's life that could have driven, that kind of behavior to value that relationship over the bottom line and figure out what was going on. And ultimately, Richard Branson did not eliminate that guy from his organization because of the circumstances he found out and because of the discussions he had and the relationship that they had forged before and after that. And to round out this story, as I heard it on YouTube from Richard Branson himself, that as Richard Branson's Virgin brand expanded over decades, and they had Virgin, I believe, Virgin Atlantic Records, which was no longer a record store, it was a music production company. And that man that he could have chose to fire a long, long time ago went on to sign acts for Virgin, Rolling Stones, and the Kinks. And Richard Branson wanted to use that to underscore that relationships and people are at the foundation of everything. And with that, I'm going to hand this over to our first speaker tonight, because this guy was foundational in what my wife and I were able to do in network marketing. He's someone I met a decade and a half ago. And at the time, he had so many people coming into his organization, he couldn't promise the world to everyone. But I think as time went by, it sorted out where he was going to put his attention, who he was going to work with. And over time, we were able to build a relationship and forge a business partnership, I think, that would weather any storm, just like the relationships that Sir Richard Branson built with his team. I think this man is built of that same kind of character. He's built tremendous success here in LifeVantage, not just for himself, but for dozens and dozens of families like mine. I want to hand this over to a friend, uh, a brother, business partner is much further down there on the list than those other things that have meant so much to us, man, over all of this time. So I'm going to hand this over to executive consultant at LifeVantage, my friend Dan Mollering, to go over the system. Dan, over to you.
Chris, thank you so much, man. And thanks for sharing that story. I remember when I was first getting into the whole entrepreneurial mindset of network marketing. And even prior to that, when I was in construction, I remember, Richard Branson's story and the whole Virgin story. And I was like, that was really cool. And in fact, prior to becoming like a Delta, you know, disciple, I guess you could say. Like it was Virgin Atlantic. Then they just stopped flying out of Boston, so I don't know what happened. I switched to Delta, but it's all good. But thank you so much for the introduction and the reminder, Chris. And it's been an incredible journey with you and Sarah and Rose and building this group and this team and being part of LifeVantage as a whole. And then developing into the leaders that you are now and being part of this leadership group with Building Up. It's been an awesome journey, brother. So thank you so much for all that you are and have done for us. So again, my name's Daniel Mollering. For those of you who don't know me, I've been with this company for 17 years. Executive consultant one previous to being involved with LifeVantage. I was in construction, had my own construction businesses and specific niche kind of marketing, but did realize that it was always going to require me to run it. I needed to figure out a way to have more autonomy in life and have something that was going to have a legacy that would live on beyond my efforts. And I guess the way that my mentor, Marcel Niederhauser, said that is like separating yourself from the creation of your income. Now, through that process and finding LifeVantage, network marketing was never, ever, ever on the top of my list when it came to finding that kind of vehicle. But opportunity has a very strange way of revealing itself. And what I had found when I had seen what it was that we had to offer, right? And for those of you that are familiar with our opportunity presentations and tear-off sheets, it's those six key components that I was looking at when I was evaluating it. So, when I was looking at the things that had this perfectly aligned, I said, well, that I could check the boxes, the company, the compensation, the product, the timing, the trends and the system and support makes sense. How do I do it? Right. And have never have having experience in this industry or knowing anybody that had any substantial success prior to being exposed to LifeVantage. Um, it was important for me that I had a track to run on. And that was one of those boxes that I needed to check in that, six key components of success. It was system, it was support. Was there a track to run on? If I fell down, would they pick me up? Were there people that had the answers if I didn't? Were there other resources that they could direct me to? And the answer is yes. And this is how that looks. I can be very honest with you folks that for the first couple of years of building this organization with LifeVantage, I did not want to follow this system because it seemed way too simple. It seemed way too simplistic, and for whatever reason, I guess because we're human beings, I felt a need to overcompensate and overcomplicate, right? Especially not having any kind of college background, but being able to be able to read something once and be able to repeat it verbatim is kind of like a talent, but not really. Because it was just, again, overcompensating. And I can tell you right now, there weren't a lot of people that were excited to learn about a breakthrough in wellness or even ground floor business opportunities with publicly traded biotech companies. I don't think they were really excited to hear about that information from a roofer. So I realized very quickly that I needed a system, and that if I wanted something to be that was automated, it needed to be able to run itself, with or without my hand on it 24/7. Right. So you look at franchises, and those franchisee owners are usually owning more than one if they're serious about having a passive income stream that isn't a headache that they're having to fill in for the employees all the time. You have to have a system in place because systems don't fail, people fail systems. You've heard it before, right? You're not going to go buy a McDonald's for the 1.9 or the 2.2 mil, whatever it is now. I'm sure it's more than it was the last time I looked, you know? So the point is, you're not going to go get one of these franchises and then turn the Golden Arches blue and start selling fish nuggets. You're going to go to a place in Tennessee called Hamburger University, and you're going to learn how to make Big Macs and fries and chicken nuggets. And that's why fries in Boston at McDonald's taste exactly the same as they do in France or in Brazil. And I've tested that theory just to find out the fries are identical, and it's not because they have the best food in the world that these guys are so successful. It's because they figured out a system that works in their absence, that is unified and consistent in the whole world, right? So this system that we're going to share with you tonight, and that I'm sharing with you tonight, is really all you need to know. This is the secret sauce. I remember when Summer Smollett would come up to me at events and be like, "What's the freaking secret?" And we would just go over these things. She's like, "I already know that though." And I'm like, "Yeah, just keep doing it." It's the experience and the repetition that gets there. But I'm telling you right now, if you can just resign yourself to keeping it this simplistic and following these five principles and behaviors and stay consistent with it over the next 2 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 10 years, however many years you're willing to commit to it. I decided a long time ago that this was going to be something that I committed to forever because that time was going to pass anyway. So it didn't matter to me how long it was going to take before I was be able to have that passive income that was automated with or without my hand on it and be able to separate myself from the creation of my income. It really didn't matter. But this is a way to compress time. 5 simple things. Write these down. The first thing is 15 presentations or more per month. Okay, so what is a presentation? It is your story, who you are, what you do, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, the solution that you found with LifeVantage, and why you're excited for the future, right? The company story, where we are, where we were, where we are, where we're heading, right? I think we can answer that. We have the resources at our fingertips, and how we get paid. Flip over the tear-off sheet, and the compensate, the income earnings report is there, along with a couple of highlights of the compensation plan. You do that over and over and over and over again as many times as you like. We say 15 or more because we feel as a leadership group that is manageable bite-sized pieces for average people. Now, we also emphasize or more because there are people that will say, "Can I do more than 15?" And we absolutely welcome and encourage that. It will go as fast as you want it to. Okay, so in that process of doing your 15 presentations or more per month, you're going to develop your skill sets. And in that process, you're going to understand and learn. You're inviting, you're following up, you're databasing, you're helping resolve concerns and helping them firm a resolve on what they want to do with this. Okay, that's all in that first behavior. The second behavior is attend all events and to treat them as if they are the highest in priority. This is an event, right? Like this call is an event. We just had a live event in St. George, which was, I mean, take your breath away, phenomenal. You hear it all the time. It was the best one. They're always going to be the best one because everybody goes to those things to improve and sharpen their saw and level up their skill set. That's what it's for. So it's not really a shock to me that everyone's better, that every building depth is better than the previous, right? But that's why you go to them, because that's where you're going to get the nuggets. That's where you're going to learn from people like you're going to hear from tonight, how they built their business from A to Z with visual examples on what they did to do that by applying these principles of behaviors, right? You're going to hear the obstacles that they've been up against. And some of them are going to be obstacles that you've been up against too, or maybe would like to avoid. But the whole point of going to events is that we build in the training. We're not trying to saddle people with 6 figures in debt so that you can go get a master's in network marketing. We're just asking you to get your butt in the freaking seat so that we can have you learn from somebody that's already done it, right? And teach you where to step and where not to step, like a landmine field, and so it doesn't blow up in your face, right? That's what it's for, right? So, and then you meet amazing people. You get the peek behind the curtain with the culture that you're working with, and it's incredible. You'll be forever changed. You will understand that those are the people that you want to be around, and those are the people that you're going to want your people around, and that's how a movement happens, right? So that's number two. Number three, stay in control of your business. What does that mean? That could be an entire call or a weekend or a symposium in and of itself. Staying in control of your business means not waiting for people to come to you. It means going to people. It means not having to handle and manage every little question that comes through your organization when it comes to product or commission questions or compensation questions. Utilizing the access that we have to the over 200 employees at corporate to help assist us with our organizations, to help automate it. Focusing on what you can control and what you can't control. Staying in control of your emotions is a big one. Staying in control of the flow of information is a good one. If people aren't asking you about superoxide dismutase, let's not bore them to death with the science. If they're only interested in how this is going to work for them from a financial standpoint, just get to that conversation. But if they don't care about the money or the business aspect either, and they really want to know how this is going to help them with A, B, or C, you might want to spend a little bit more time working with them on that. So it's really staying in control of the flow of the information, being a good listener, and then also understanding this, focusing on what you can control and not worrying about what you can't control. I can tell you this, you can control if you do all of these 5 principles and behaviors. You can control that. You cannot control if somebody else does these 5 principles and behaviors. So don't attach yourself to what other people are doing. Just attach yourself to what you're doing. Again, staying in control can mean a ton of things, and we do go over that in depth at Building Depth in St. George and on these calls throughout the year and throughout the month. So that's number 3. Number 4, always do what you say you're going to do, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. I feel that people struggle with this, not only in business, but in life. And it's just called integrity. And I understand that people can get overwhelmed and burned out. And sometimes it may seem easier to put off for tomorrow what could be done today. But I'll tell you right now, I'm watching a documentary with Ben Franklin. He said it. He said it best. If you do tomorrow what you did today, you'll get tomorrow what you got today. So you have to be moving the needle all the time. If you make a commitment to somebody, you have to go do that. Even if they, here's the thing, even if people try to back out on you, you have to help hold them accountable, and not in a bossy, mean way and in their chest. But if somebody tries to back out, to say, hey, listen, we set this time aside together. I'm going to do what we said we're going to do. Your guest isn't going to show up, but we're going to turn this into a training. I can't tell you how many times that has turned somebody's business around, or that guest ended up showing up last minute. Always do what what you said you're going to do. If you said you're going to be there for somebody, be there for somebody. If you said you were going to be on that call, be on that call. Right? It's real simple. Just do what you commit to do, and don't overcommit yourself to things that you can't do. Learn your boundaries. If it's something that you can't do and it's not realistic, you have to stand on business with that. It's okay to say no. Don't try to be everything to everyone all the time, because when you do that, then you put yourself into a trap, and then you end up falling out of integrity because all of a sudden you freaking overlapped and overbooked and you didn't know what you're doing, and now you can't do what you said you were going to do. So you have to control your emotions, and you have to stay in control of doing what you say you're going to do. I think those two kind of go hand in hand. They go in tandem, right? And then the last one, guys, is promote. You're going to promote our events. You're going to promote our culture. You're going to promote what it is that we stand for. This is a global cause. We offer global solutions to global concerns, and we're putting it in the hands of people that are amazing individuals. When you put an abundance of health, wealth, and time into the hands of good people, those good people do good things with that health, wealth, and time, right? This is that vehicle. So I hope that's helpful. I'm telling you right now, folks, we go over these calls on the first and third Tuesday. Tonight, like usually we go over those 5 topics ad nauseum for a full hour, but tonight it's just a snippet so that you can see how those 5 principles of behaviors, when applied, build out when you stay consistent month over month over month over month over month. And the person who's going to present to you tonight is a dynamo. I don't think that there's ever been a month that they didn't hit every one of those principles and behaviors. Maybe there was. Maybe there was one moment where they did 14 presentations that month. I highly doubt it. But I'm just saying, like, as a for example, right? Maybe it's more like, oh, I only did 14 presentations before lunch. Like that's probably how she was getting down on herself. But this couple has been a master students of this system. Hands down, there is no doubt about it. This is why they're at where they're at, and have been able to go through experience to be able to bless you with what it is that they're going to share with you tonight. And it's literally their journey from A to B by applying these principles and behaviors. So, with no further ado, future presidential consultant Summer Smolik.
Oh, thanks, Dan. I have to say thank you. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay.
Yep.
Dan, I got to tell you thank you for all of your patience and grace for us through this process. When you want something bad enough, you're going to find a way. If not, you're going to find an excuse. And what I thought during this journey is like, it can't be this simple. I was a burnout medical device rep. Everything was complicated. It can't be this simple. So they're not telling me something because I'm hearing the principles and behaviors all the time. And actually, I was talking to Marcel about this over the weekend. I was like, if you literally said, go find five more one more time, I was going to throat punch you because I could, like, it can't be that simple. Yeah, I get that, but use different words. And then he said, Summer, you haven't built your foundation yet. Oh, okay. So now we just changed his words to say the same thing, and I resonated with that. But you guys, these are so simple that we're going to share these with you. And some of you have been on this call for a long time. We are going to say these things to you until you do them. Until you do them. They're the same, they don't change. And here I am, I'm on the side of the road up in a small town in Montana right now. I still have an hour drive to get to where I'm at. And so here I am pondering, how am I going to share this with you guys? I have no slides, no circles, no nothing, except here's what I'm going to share with you. We were on our way from Cincinnati to we've landed in Vegas on Sunday. And now you're not allowed to leave Rob and I by ourselves to have conversations. Okay. So that starts out number one. Number two, we decided that when Rob flies back to Kentucky, I'm going to go up to Montana for 8 days. Not prepared. Like, I don't have enough underwear. I'm wearing sweatpants and a hoodie from 2019 that I'm like, not that I have to dress up fancy, but I'm not prepared to come. And I showed up anyway because I knew I had the intuition I need to be there. And so then I borrow a truck. Okay. And here's what I look at. And I'm traveling all over Western Montana, which is a lot. Can you guys see that? In not my truck, but in our friend's truck is a picture of my husband. Okay, you see that? So I get a look at a smoking hot face every time I'm driving because this is strangers become friends and friends become family. And I'm going to show you something else. You see this? This is my calendar. I've already put probably 600 miles on this truck. Thank you so much, Matt. Appreciate it. Did you see my calendar? I just want to make sure that you could see that because I'm literally in this truck. That activity level would not be possible without having a group of people in place. When you do this together, here's what happened. We're on the airplane, and do you guys know Candy Kreslak? Like, she is one of the most powerful leaders in this entire company. And it took us 4 years to find Candy. We've been doing this almost 10 years. I was burnt out. I was on my hands and knees, hoping, wishing, wanting, praying that something would come in my life. After a divorce, losing all my friends, having no children in my mid to late 30s, my body's failing. I'm broken. I wanted out of the system so stinking bad, I didn't know how to get it. And then I meet the greatest man in the world who is he's the greatest, who shared this information, shared the ABC primetime report with me, completely freaked me out. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was really excited. And after doing this for a couple of years, I'm going, oh my gosh. And I'm going to go back to the beginning too on that. So be patient while I'm squirreling moment to share these stories with you. But I was looking at Rob going, is anybody ever going to duplicate what we're doing? I keep hearing that this business is the business of duplication. And 4 years later, now I'm trying to figure out why we're not presidential yet. Do you guys feel like that? Like, this should have happened yesterday. It should have happened 10 years ago. We should have walked in. I don't know if you guys feel like this, but that's how bad we wanted this business. We didn't realize that we had to become the people. Because could you imagine right now where you're at in your business right now? If somebody handed you a presidential business, how long would that business stay open? Would you, where you're at right now, be able to lead a presidential organization right now? Probably not, right? Because you're not there yet. Because you have to develop and become the person that you need to become to, I don't want to use the word manage, but to lead that type of an organization. So it took us 4 years, and I met one of the most incredible people through somebody else. I knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who knew Candy. It went from a butcher to a walleye. He was the director of the Walleye Foundation, fishing, because we're in Montana, right? So walleye, to then lead us to a lady, beautiful woman by the name of Julie, who works at a water treatment plant, to introduce us to her daughter that works at the bank, to introduce us to Candy Kreslak, who I did what I said I was going to do. I got a call from Julie that said, please, 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 please come to Helena. It's 3 hours away through a snowstorm over a couple mountain passes with a 1-year-old by myself. Never been to her daughter's house ever. You guys talk about the stress. And then I'm so mad that I said yes, that I have to come, that I argued with myself and I threw a little temper tantrum like, what the heck are you doing, Summer? This is ridiculous. This is absolutely insane that you're doing this, who does that? But I showed up that day and met one of the most powerful women that have come into my life, and she didn't know it yet. So we believed in her. We grabbed a hold of her. Blue told us at one point along this, when we had the chance to meet Blue, he says, Rob, Summer, you guys can enroll people. You can enroll people. Go help your peeps. Go help your people. Go help your people enroll people. Because I was trying to figure out how to get, because when we want to enroll somebody, we were like, okay, well, that worked. But people weren't doing anything then. So it's like, okay, go share this. But what we found is that not very many people are confident in who they are. I had zero idea as to what I was doing, you guys. But when you have a desire to have a family, and my why is so much bigger than my why didn't make me cry. Now, granted, I cried every day for 3.5 years because we didn't play with this. We were getting rejected like more times in a day than the majority of people get rejected in an entire year. Because we were trying to, well, not Rob, but you guys, Rob is perfect. And Rob walks into the room, and Candy has this gift too, and I haven't quite figured this out. Candy walks into the room, Rob walks into the room, and people start throwing money at him. I don't know. Me, on the other hand, didn't work out very good for me. I had a lot of learning to do. But when Blue said that, that resonated with me of, okay, you guys, we didn't have an actively growing upline. Well, no, we didn't. They had no clue as to what they were doing. And to give them grace, when I think about it now, you have a gentleman who is very type A, businessman, confident in himself, come into your organization a couple of weeks later, have another confident, now just the female version. So then you have me, right, that comes in. So they have two very driven people that come hell or high water, we're going to figure out how this works. And they did not know what to do with us. They had zero idea of what to do with us. And now I'm like, oh man, I kind of feel bad. And then we had the chance to meet Marcel Niederhauser at a LifeVantage Academy. When we started going to these events and trainings, my friends, we saw the power behind learning how to do this. And I would take 2 things that I learned and I'd apply them. And then I'd go to the next one and take 2 things or a couple things I learned and then I would apply them. This was the art of promoting, is that we didn't ask people to come to the events. We saw what that would do. And when Marcel said, you guys have heard some of the story. Like I followed him into the bathroom, not into the bathroom, but to the bathroom, asking him a whole bunch of questions because that guy knows what he's doing. So why would I go take advice and ask somebody how to build a multi-million-dollar network marketing business when they haven't done it? Like, why would I do that? So I don't listen to anybody. We just went. So Rob stood by his jacket. I followed him to the bathroom and asked him a whole bunch of questions because he knows what he's doing. I'd have never done this before, you guys. I have zero idea as to what I was doing. And then when we saw the value and what he was teaching, and he told us to come to a building depth, we didn't ask our peeps. We called every single one of them. And at that time, we had about 19. We had every single consultant that had been enrolled in our business. This was the third building depth. We called all 19. And here's what the conversation sounded like. Listen, Marcel just called us, told us to come down to Colorado. We have no idea why. He just said, show up. So you're coming with us. We're going to meet you in Billings. I know we have to leave tomorrow. And for some of you, like it was for me, it's a 5-hour drive to get there and I still have to work. We'll meet you in Billings at the Hilton. We'll sleep for maybe 2 or 3 hours. We'll caravan. Some of you were going to duct tape to the top of the car. We slammed in 6 people in a very itty bitty car and men that are taller and bigger than me in this little car. And we drove 13 hours to get to Denver. We have no idea why we're going, but we're excited and you're coming with. Could you guys do like, come with me? Would you like to go to a training? Would you like to come? No. Heck no. This guy knows what he's doing. He's the #1 guy. He called us, you're coming with. Oh, can we go? I don't know. We'll ask for forgiveness later. So we don't ask for permission. We'll ask for forgiveness later because we want you to be there with us. That's how we started promoting. We started every person that came in contact with us. Today, you guys, I had Candy. I'm like, Candy, I'm driving. There's that link for LVA somewhere. I can't even remember the date is, but we're going. Can you send me the link? So now every conversation I'm having with people, I'm like, here's the link, register. I'm texting it to you right now. You're going to go. July 18th from 9 to 1, you're going to go. And then they do, because I know what this could do for people. But I wasn't always that confident in that, you guys. Does that make sense? But I saw that these guys, Dan, Dave and Joe, Chris and Sarah, Kristen, Candy, the executives, now I'm in trouble here, right? Marcel, Blue, all the other presidentials, executives that are in there, they know what they're doing. So I got to get my butt in the seat to figure out what they know. And maybe where I'm at in the part of my business that I'm at, whoever needs to come in, that needs to come into my life, will come into my life and will be speaking at that event. I remember when Mark Harris showed up and like all of a sudden he was my superhero because he said something that I needed to hear and where I was at in the journey of this business. Does that make sense? So we did that over and over and over again. And then we invited, when we met Candy, I go, Candy, you need to go to LifeVantage Academy. We're teaching one way out east, so we're not going to be there. I'm going to get you your ticket. You're going to go. She goes, okay. So she drove a few hours, 4 or 5 hours to get to the LifeVantage Academy where she enrolled. She called me right after I got done teaching. She goes, Summer, I'm in. Here's my credit card. She's 6 levels below. Now, without doing this together with her, this was happening today or this week wouldn't be possible because I'm on the airplane to Cincinnati. I call Candy and I go, hey, hi, just kidding. I'm coming to Montana. I'm going to be there for 8 days. Because then through Candy, I found amazing people like Barbara Callahan. I found amazing people like Angie English. I found amazing people like Tammy McCartney. Guess what? Those guys got the conversation too. Let's fill up the room. Angie, on the way back from Building Depths this summer, I'm going to have a meeting at every hour from the moment we wake up to, like, I'm going to not be back in Helena until probably midnight because I got meeting after meeting. And then we call Francis. We're like, Francis, we're coming up there. Let's get some people in the room. Guess what? That's what's happening. It starts at 8:15. 8:15, 9, 9:30, 10, 11:30, 12, or hold on, 11, 11:30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5:30. Do you guys see? Because we're working through people. It's not on me. So Blue says you can go enroll. If you've enrolled one person, you know how to enroll people. So go help the people in your group. But unless you're doing your own presentations, it is really hard for you to help support your group. Now, if you're new and you're a little nervous, that's okay. Lean in. We're going to help share this together because I want to know the people that you know. Right? And that's what becomes so unbelievably powerful. Now, I don't manage people. I don't manage people. They're going to go do whatever it is that they're going to go do. We don't, like Marcel says, we don't sit on them and hatch them. So if they are if you're working in an organization that you kind of come to a stop, or people slow down, or it's not building as fast as you want to, then you got to go find 5 more people. That's what Rob and I did. We enrolled in bunches. And then we found all of these conversations that we were having. This all takes a lot of time, you guys. This does not happen overnight. Rob and I have been involved in this company almost 10 years, a decade. It took us 4 to find Candy. It took us a gabillion to find Barbara Callahan. It took us it took us 2 years to find Dave and Brenda Rowell, who then led us to Cindy, who I just spent in Missoula, Montana, with quite a few people in her group, who Jed reached out to Candy and said, Summer's going to die, but didn't know that. So Candy says, Jed, this is what you feed her. Jed went and bought me dinner. There you go, Barbara. So I had a protein bar for dinner. And then Jed showed up with dinner for me. So I went and passed out, because you don't worry about that. You don't worry about eating or sleeping when you're building this, you guys. And it's fun. If you're not having fun, it's not worth it. So we laughed a lot about the food. And then I decided, if I'm doing a circle call, he decided to get me a whole bunch of sweet tarts right here. 3 bags of this stuff. I love a good sweet tart. I'm in a health and wellness company. Don't worry about it. But they're good for you. So in this very moment. So he does, but we wouldn't have found Jed if Marion wasn't selling some sheep. The decisions that you make in your life impact other people's lives. The decisions that you make impact other people's lives. We do not prejudge people. I just share the whole story with them. I don't make decisions for them that says something along the lines of, this person only needs product, this person only needs the business. Garbage. You don't know. That's not your role. It is not your role to decide how that person is going to become involved, if that makes sense. A couple of years after we got started, we met a gentleman who was 17 years old at the time when we met him. He knocked on our door to buy some camouflage from us. I'm doing a meeting outside because I can't just sit still. I can't believe I'm still in the truck, but it's windy and you wouldn't hear me. Because this is so important and so exciting where we're at right now. You guys, don't play with this. This is the most perfect time to be a part of LifeVantage right now. Because if you do play with this, you're going to look back about 1 year or 2 years down the line and go, well, I know what perfect timing looks like, and I'm not in it right now. Because we're going to find the people that you don't talk to. The ones that have been prejudged, that you threw away, that you said, oh, they won't do it because of fear. That we're going to find them and they're going to be in our business. I mean, I know that sounds silly, but not really, because we're out there building this as fast as we can, but we're doing our best not to leave them behind. Are you going to jump on our train? Are you going to lock arms with us? And we're going to go out and share this information 15 or more times a month. You have to stay consistent. You're going to be bad before you're good and good before you're great. And Candy was brilliant when she met me and said, Summer, I have to rip off the Band-Aid. You know what's more painful? To take it off one hair at a time. Ow, don't do it that way. Just rip off the Band-Aid, swallow your fear, because the people that are going to be in your business are waiting for you to open up your mouth. You just have to go find them. Your presidential business is already out there for you. You just have to go find the people that are going to do this. So a 17-year-old shows up at our house to buy camouflage. I'm outside sharing this information. He looks at Rob and goes, I don't know what your wife is talking about, but I'm kind of interested. The next day was a LifeVantage Academy. Do you guys know, if you bring guests to a LifeVantage Academy or to a convention or a building depth, our success rate for personal people that we bring is 100%. We've not had one person not enroll. Now, for us in our whole group, our success rate is 99.3. So Rob says there's a LifeVantage Academy, come with us. So he comes with us, catches a vision. The next week he turns 18. We enroll him. The next couple of days after that, we go to a building depth. The guy is MC1, an 18-year-old kid, MC1 in 22 days. Because he does, and here's his invite. You don't have to this is what he says. This cracks me up, you guys. I'm wearing a LifeVantage sweatshirt from 2019 in my sweatpants in a truck with a picture of my husband on it from somebody else. He calls people and he goes, listen, do you want to go meet some multimillionaires? You're going to love them. Let's come up to their house. And then he'd pick them up in his truck and drive 45 minutes to our house. He wouldn't tell us. There's been times I was in my pajamas and Cole would come down the road and bring people like, okay. So we're going to tell him why we're doing this, about the company, how you get paid. And we're going to give them choices and options, you guys. I use my own products. I'm closer to 50 than I am 40. I've never felt better in my life. I'm going to use these products every single day for the rest of my life. Every single day for the rest of my life. Regardless of whatever you guys think is somebody else's opinion, because I run circles and my husband runs circles around people that are half our age. Like that is so amazing. Then we meet a gal, her name is Lori, or I meet her on an airplane last year. A woman who's strutting her stuff with bright red lipstick, 70 years old, with a piece of luggage that's a little too big for the overhead compartments, going, "Oh, honey baby, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, yes, I got it. Oh, excuse me, pardon me. Oh, honey baby, I'm so sorry." Then I'm like, I have to meet this lady. And then she sits next to me. People are everywhere. I only had 17 people in my phone when I started this. People, okay, hold on. You don't need anybody. The person that you're going to share it with needs you. You don't need anybody. I share this with Lori. We then happen to sit next to each other on the way back to Vegas 3 days later. This woman is one of I love her. We pretty much live with her when we're in Vegas right now. And she's been a part of our life for a solid year, and she's SC3. And she said, "Summer, I don't want to do a business because I don't want to commit." She's living her best life right now, you guys. She has more energy than she did before because of the products. She's been sharing this with people that come into her life that she feels like she wants to share it with, because she says, "I'm not making a commitment. I don't commit." But she committed for one time to enroll for the VIP. And guess what happened to her? She won. She's going on a cruise with all of us. She didn't even believe that was possible, because she says, "I don't make a commitment." But one day she decided to make a commitment, and then it worked. And now her confidence, now she feels like she's a part of a community of people that are here to help support her. We have our organization spans all across the country. We have different pockets that we help support along the way. But when I kept hearing, if your business isn't growing fast enough, then you need to go find 5 more. So we enroll in batches. Because if instead of camping on people and trying to hatch them, we plug them into a system and we let this system help you build your business. And we find leadership throughout the way. Grab a hold of us and never let us go. We're just looking for those of you that want to do what we're doing right now. Some people don't want to do what we're doing right now, but they might later. That doesn't.
Hey, Jess. Hey, guys. How are you?
Oh, hi. Good to see you. But we don't throw people away. We don't treat them like a number. We love on them. Candy's sponsor was involved in this for a year. Never jumped on a call. She would go to the corporate events. She went to 3 events, and one day she got inspired. One for 5 minutes. And I jumped in my car, drove 3 hours in a snowstorm, and I found one of the greatest network marketers in the industry. Now, she didn't know that about herself yet, but that's it. And we heard somebody say to us, "You have a way of taking average people and making them extraordinary." And I said, "No, that's not true. That's not true at all. Because everybody's already extraordinary. They just don't know it yet. But if we put them in an environment where they could swallow their fear just for a few minutes, reach out to someone, tell them that they're excited to sit down and listen to something that could completely change the trajectory of their life, we help support them in that. We want to empower people, develop leaders. The Building Depth system is a leadership development system. This is a leadership development program, because this is about becoming, but the way to get over your fear is by action. It's not by reading a book. It's not by watching other people. It is by taking action. And you are going to suck really bad at the beginning of this, except Angie English. Everybody that Angie talked to, you almost choked on your food. I'm looking at you right now. That is good stuff. Because Angie Everything Angie touched at the very beginning turned to gold. Everybody enrolled. And here's Angie's exact words. She'd look around and you guys, a lot of you guys know Angie. She's a business owner up in a small town called Havre. And she is very bold and she will speak what's on her mind. And she kind of would look around and give people this look like, I don't know what your problem is. And she goes, I don't know. I keep like winning this stuff and free stuff comes to my house and I'm winning all these incentives. And I don't know why this is so hard for all of you. Like, this is easy. Right. So everybody enrolls and because of Angie. But that, you guys, this is so unbelievably simple. But if I help people, if we're teaching people to teach people to teach people, and we build depth by grabbing a hold of people right when the brand new person enrolls. I was just doing a meeting in Missoula where a brand new person by the name of Marcia was sitting next to me. We helped send some invites. And then guess what? She lives in Havre, Shelley, but we call it Havre because it makes it sound fancy. But then have her send some invites because we're going to help support her. So she could kind of get the story, get her feet wet a little bit. So then we can empower her. So, I guess I should probably tell her what state. Whatevs, I'm in Montana right now. Doesn't everybody know that? Sorry. But then to help her get her business started, to do this together, to empower people to start doing their own meetings, then we can come in and help validate what you're doing and plug people into the system so they know the next steps. When somebody says, Summer, how do I build my business and what do I need to do? I'm going to say, number one, we're going to share this 15 or more times a month. We're going to go to the trainings and conventions like they're non-negotiable. And the next one, there's a call tonight. There's brand new people on this call right now that I talked to today. Hi, you guys. I'm glad to see you that are on this call because I already told them about it, but you're going to go to the LifeVantage Academy July 18th from 9 to 1 at the DoubleTree in Helena, Montana. I just texted you the link so you can register right now. Don't delay, but you might as well get a guest ticket because I know that you're going to bring a guest with you. But we need to talk to people right now so we can bring people with you so they don't miss out on the opportunity to learn from some of the most amazing people in the industry, people that know what they're doing. Because I didn't have a clue as to what I was doing. But we just took a leap of faith and then we argued and asked a whole bunch we didn't argue. It's just I didn't understand what they were talking about. And it was so simple. So I'm just telling you right now, I already get the award for overcomplication. So that award is already taken. It's not available for all of you. All you need to do is attend the events, do what you say you're going to do, stay in control of your business and bring people with you. Can we say that together? Come with me. Can we let's say that together. Come with me. Right? And that will help build your business, will teach you what you do, what you need to do, but then you'll experience these stories along the way. And when you experience it, then you can own it. Then you can own it and your belief starts to go up because when your belief goes higher, your activity level goes higher. And when your activity goes higher, your results will start to follow. But Rob and I looked at this, if we even went one day without sharing this has become a part of us. I cannot go one day without sharing this. It's just weird. It became a habit. Habits die hard, but you can create a habit within 90 days. Why are you doing this? What are you looking for? This is your vehicle to be able to go get that and become the person that you deserve and need to be to live the life that you want to live. So with that, you guys, I hope that was helpful. This is like thoughts from Summer in my friend's truck with a picture of Rob taped to the dash. But I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you guys have questions, but it's really helping your brand new people invite. And when they invite, they can learn along the way. You can earn while you learn. But I do believe I'm passing this over to the gentleman who changed everything for us, you guys, that we met at that LifeVantage Academy that just validated and solidified what the other executives were sharing. I just didn't believe it until I met him, right? Marcel Niederhauser has such a way of keeping things unbelievably simple, and it's worked. 2.6 billion he has done over the years. He clearly knows what he's doing, and we just needed to copy him and these principles and behaviors so we could create and live the life of our dreams. And the fact that we've never been away from our little girl, she gets her parents, and we've been able to impact so many people's lives, it blows me away. And without further ado, Mr. Marcel Niederhauser, take it away, my friend.
Well, I've said it a million times. I'll say it again. I cannot stand to have to follow her. And, Summer, I don't really think you got the award for the most complicated because you and Rob hit EC1 way quicker than I did something like that. You guys, some of you guys know a little bit about my story, but when I started in this industry, 26 years old, I get introduced to it. Never heard of it. I got so freaking excited. Went to school the next day and found out not only am I the only one that never heard about it, nobody else wanted anything to do with it. 8 months to sponsor my first person. 8 months. And then it took me 14 years to do what an EC1 does in this business. 14 years of traveling, putting money on credit cards, gas, running the wheels off vehicles, sometimes money that I didn't have. Sometimes the economy was good, sometimes the economy was bad. But once I was given and the understanding, given the opportunity and then the understanding, I didn't miss the functions. I drove, I flew, I did all the things I needed to do. And you know what's crazy? In all of the mentorship I got along the way, nobody come up to me and said, "Hey, Marcel, how much money do you have? I know times are tough, so I'm going to give you the broke thing you should do. Just stay home and don't spend your money. Or you know what? You don't have any money. You need to be at this event." You guys follow what I'm saying? Do not make decisions on people's current situation that they're going through when you introduce this to them because you just gave them a gift. And yeah, 14 years is a long time. Most people quit, but I didn't because the last 23 years I've been living with a six-figure income monthly and pay cash for everything and go on trips with my family and my kids. And when they don't want to go, I go with my friends. And I've been all over the world. That would have never have happened if somebody, look, these people are really old now because how old I am. But did you hear Summer tonight? And then I believe Dan said some stuff. See, these people are coming into people's lives and they're giving them the hope, just like I got years ago. And unfortunately, Summer, I complicated. No, I didn't complicate it. There was nobody in this world that wanted it fast enough. I just hadn't developed yet or was mature enough or whatever you want to call it. I just had a big learning curve to go through. And one of the things that I needed to do is I needed to learn how to speak with people and not offend them. I was a really good offender, especially when people would say one thing and do another. Now, I know you guys don't know anybody like that and you haven't met any. That it was only during the time when I was growing the business. Everybody you talk to does everything you say, right? Everybody you talk to signs up. Nobody's gone 8 months trying to sponsor their first person, have you? So I tell you that story just a little bit, you guys, because I want you to know everything that I've had to go through to get to where I'm at was worth it. It was worth everything. It's like I talk a lot about the traditional way that most Americans use to create income is the 45-year plan. That means they're going to spend 45 years of their life working for somebody else. Some people own their own business, but most people, they don't own their own business. They work for somebody else. And what the statistics have shown, 95% cannot retire when they reach age 65. So during that 45-year gathering money, they weren't able to put enough away. Now, the same world that they live in and you live in and I live in, there's opportunity everywhere. It's just, what do we do when we see it? What decisions do we make? And do we just support what we believe? And I believe that's why every one of us are where we are in life, is everything we believed, we made the decisions to support that belief, and it has us where we're at. So here we are, fast forward, whatever you want to call it, and we're sitting at a time when I call them converging forces. And that's when everything that needs to line up for somebody to increase their chances of succeeding is happening right now. The company, the field on the same page, the leadership, all the leadership, the cross, everything on the same page. So little friction that comes along with trying to build a business is removed. We have a product. You can't buy it anywhere else in the world that has all those peer-reviewed studies and also a third-party validation. Doesn't exist. And we're the only one that has it. And where we're only a $200 million company and the whole world has oxidative stress means there are a lot of people that don't know about our product. Because if everybody knew about our product, we wouldn't be a $200 million company. We'd be a $200 billion company. So the timing is perfect. The company's not going out of business anytime soon. When I started back in 2009, our first year was it. If we didn't hit a certain milestone, gone. We didn't really realize that until after it was over, and then they told us. Whether they told me or not, I got in this business to get the financial freedom that this thing offers. So I would have worked just as hard knowing or not knowing. But it was kind of nice to figure out after we got done that it kept going. Because if it wouldn't have kept going, we wouldn't be talking tonight. The chances of things like this coming into your life, especially with the type of support that's offered that you have available. Not everybody that gets into network marketing has a support system like that's available here. And that increases your chances of succeeding. Yeah, I've met a lot of people in the industry and they get involved. A lot of people told me, yeah, I did that. I didn't make any money. And I asked them, I get a little bit of information. They didn't have a support system. Most people are a drive-by sponsor. I can't say that I'm okay with that because I got the support in the beginning, but ever since then, I've never had an upline. I've never had a system like this. I learned how powerful these systems are from my first experience that taught me how to do this business. And that's why you see the Building Depth program. That's why you see the LVA program. That's why you see all of the principles, behaviors, and you see, let's build the foundation first. We'll do the 15 presentations, the one-on-ones, and then we'll get people to a house meeting, and then we'll get a big hotel meeting, and then we'll plug them into the system and get them down to Building Depth or get them to a corporate function. These little things that get promoted and shared is what increases your chances of succeeding. If we don't do those, then our chances of succeeding go down. Now, 14 years is a long time. And here's the thing. It used to be 12 until I actually did math. I learned about this business when I was 26, not 28. I finally went back and did it. But what happened was, you guys, once I hit a certain age, time stopped and I quit adding on. And some of you guys can relate to that. Some of you are too young to understand that, but the day will come. But I just know that everything you heard tonight, everything, like a lot of us was in St. George this weekend, and to see your faces again it's exciting. 2 full days of getting taught how to build a network marketing business. So what does that mean? What happens if we actually build it? And let's say we build it to a presidential level. Let's just imagine that for a moment. What does that mean? That means on the 15th of the month, a 6-figure check comes to your house. Anybody on here opposed? So ask yourselves, those of you that are working for somebody else, what's the chances of you working there and at the end of your job, you're going to make $1 million a year and they're going to pay you 6 figures every month? What are the chances of that happening? What normally happens when we quit going to work? We quit getting paid. That's then a benefit of building the business and especially the presidential, because once you're a presidential, you have so much leadership in your organization that whether you do this or not, that check's going to come in. So I've been with the company since 2009. So work backwards, whatever that math is. And on the 15th of the month, which just yesterday was the 15th, I got paid. Just like clockwork. For all these years, I get a check. So is that worth it? Now, what happens every month for that 16, 17 years? That kind of money comes in. What do you do with it? You think you pay everything off? That's what I did. Do you think you pay cash for everything? That's what I do. You know how I bought things before I got into this? Credit. You know, I travel a lot. Me and my wife travel a lot, and our family travels a lot. We've been all over the world. There was a time when Lisa and I would take our family on one vacation, would put it on a credit card, and then would spend the next year paying it off. So, with little things like that, do you think there's ever a moment I regretted that I paid the price and put in the effort to make this thing happen? You think I ever regret that now? Do you think I care it took me 14 years? I beat the system by 25 years. That's good. But then you've got little smart alecks like Robin Summer and Candy and others on this that are moving through the ranks very quickly that did not have to go through all the struggles I went through. Now they've had their struggles, but I don't think it took Robin Summer 14 years to get to EC1. Did it, Summer? Or even anyway? So it's worth paying the price. The fact that you've got the resources to plug into will enhance your experience. One other thing I love to talk about is because you guys are going to get this. There's a possibility some of you might even have said this before. But I get people all the time, new ones. I mean, I'm gonna flop for a second. Ever since this function and the forces lining up, I've been on Zoom, call, opportunity meeting, three-way, talking to brand new people, talking to people somebody just met, nonstop. Like it feels like the very beginning of when we started this before. And it's just a powerful thing to be able to have something like this come into your life. And the crazy little things that have to happen is you have to see it, you've got to process the information, and then you got to make a decision on how you're going to respond to that information. And then you're going to give things to do that are going to help you grow your business. And all you got to do is make the decisions to do that. Are you guys tracking with me? And that's it. If you don't take advantage of this, then most of us or most of you will be told what to do, when you can take time off, how much you're worth. That's the big one. How much they determine how much you're worth. Do you think for 1 minute that I believe I'm worth the amount of money I get paid? Absolutely not. I know I have value because I went through every fire to get to where I'm at today so that I could help you out. So I have value, but that's the thing about value. When your value increases to others, the income comes in. And I don't know how to write that formula or paint that picture. But as you increase your value to others, the income starts to come in. So the thing I was going to leave you with before I got sidetracked was I got in one of those things and I lost my money. And I'm like, what? You lost money? How in the world did you lose your money? Have you found it yet? Well, what do you mean? Well, you lost your money. Did you find, where'd you leave it? Did it fall out of your pocket? Did you leave it at the grocery store? What do you mean you lost your money? Well, I got in and I gave him my money and I never made any. Oh, you mean you got in, you didn't do anything, and you gave them your money. You didn't lose your money. See the difference there? Well, those things don't work. Look at all, there are so many people on this call right now that are getting a check from LifeVantage as we speak. So it does work. And I leave that with you because I find it humorous. We're getting back into this gathering phase. And when we're gathering and that energy is out there, people are jumping on board. But I want you all to know that when you get somebody that's not educated on this industry and they say things to you like that, well, nobody, it doesn't work for anything they tell you, all you got to do and look at them and say, you know what? My friend Marcel thought the same thing, but here's what he found out. Then you can take the time and explain to them how this works. Most of my contacts that I contacted were no's at first, but through follow up and me learning more, a lot of them turned into yeses. Some did something, some took advantage of it, and some didn't, and that's okay. We tell you to go get five more. We tell you to go get five more. What we want you to find is five people that are sold out to those principles and behaviors, to themselves, to their families, to some type of cause that won't let them vary 1 ounce when a little bit of obstacle comes in the way, right? Find five people. If you have to sponsor 100 to find the five, then it's worth it because those five people will lead you guys to thousands. And so I look at all you guys on this call today. Some of you know, some of I've never seen before, but I can tell you this. I did not know Rob and Summer until I met them. And I did not meet them 26 years ago or 34 years ago. It's been in the last 16 years. And I met them in an LVA. I didn't know Dan Mollering either until this business. So the last thing I want to leave you with is while you're making decisions on what you're going to do or not to do, the decisions you make affect thousands of people's lives later on in the future. Because if we wouldn't have built LifeVantage, none of you would be here. If I would have quit at any given time 20 years before I met Tyler, Tyler would have never been introduced to this industry. I mean, he got involved in Amway for 30 seconds, but I got to tell you, the dynamics and everything, we helped him see the vision. And look at the blessing he's brought to this industry. You don't know how fragile those small threads are, but the activities that we teach will take those threads and turn them into not just rope, but cable, 6-inch cable. And when that 6-inch cable is put together, you're getting a six-figure income in the mailbox every month. And I look at all these people on this call. I mean, we're still at 106. You guys, I can't believe you guys don't have anything better to do. All of us are going to join hands, and over the next 2 to 5 years, we're going to change all of your lives if you decide to jump in and do your part. You guys good with that? Look at all these hearts. I love listening to this to Summer. I love listening to Rob. I love listening to a lot of you on this call. I know she killed it tonight. Her confidence and the confidence that they carry. We just got to listen to everybody speak at the event. And I mean, there's some other elites on here I've seen. I love listening to Dave and Joe. I don't know if they're still there. But Candy, I'm going through and making sure that I miss Dan, Chris and Sarah. I'm just so honored, and Kristen Taylor, I'm just so honored to call you guys not just friends, but we're family. And if I missed one of you guys, it's just because I didn't see your face. I love all the elites that are participating in this program and on these calls. But 15 years ago, I didn't even know Robin Summer. 15 years ago, I didn't know Brooke and Daryl Southard or Jeff and Aaron Ingalls. Well, I even know their full names, and they don't even have them on. Well, Brooke and Daryl do. That would have been an easy one. Now, Paula Fallon, I haven't met. Like, I don't know you as well as I know everybody else. Tom Lander, Rob, I do. Ben, I'm just reading these names. There was a time when I met these guys for the first time, and I'm just picking on the front row of the Hollywood Squares. There was a time I met them for the first time, and now we're family. That's a good indicator that once you start, you never stop. And like Summer said, I'm just going to say the same thing she said, just in my words. You just want to become the person that other people want to follow. Chris Smith, I know you're there. I'm going to turn this back over to you. Love you guys. I'm glad I got to speak to you for a few minutes. I can't wait to see you at the next event. I can't wait to see you on the next call. Take advantage of the next 2 to 5 years of your life and let's change the world. People need our product. They got oxidative stress, and guess what else? Their bank account has oxidative stress, and we have the solution to both of the problems. All right. Love you all. Chris?
Thank you, Marcel. I'd love it if everyone lit up the chat with a one or emoji or whatever for appreciation for Marcel being on. I want to close this call by bridging that gap that Marcel talked about. This is someone who built a business and then organized information and took that information and found people that were coachable that would implement that information. And we heard from some of those people on this call tonight. They took that information and some mentorship from Marcel being coachable and became hundreds and hundreds of families. I can attest to. The question tonight is, do you want to be part of that club that simply does just that? Take information organized by this man and just passed on to us while he's still here to provide that mentorship for us. That's gold. You can't find that anywhere in the industry. So we want to see you guys at those LVAs and in St. George next quarter. Thank you all for being on tonight. Good night. Whatever time zone you're in. Thank you, Marcel. Thank you, Summer. Thank you, Dan. Love and appreciate